I tell you what, people, I fucking cannot. And I don't know how you are. I don't know how you can. I don't get it. This week has been a trying, testing, difficult, tumultuous week, to say the least. A lot of family drama. But the beauty of it all is I have been given this, like, I don't know. It's okay. So a tool to see reality different. I don't know how else to explain this. Um, I've been seeing more of a divine pattern of why things happen to me, like how it might feel like a poke and a prod in the now, in the moment, but then if I take a step back, whether it's an hour later, a day later, a week later, a year later, a decade later, when I look back, I see the structure in it all, why I had to be poked and prodded to move in a direction, just like herding sheep. And I think a lot of us get bothered by this term sheep or sheeple, and we're hearing it a lot in the truther community. You know, you hear if you're just sheeple and stuff, but if you take a minute to think about what that's representing, in the Bible it talks about how the Most High is going to, during judgment, put the goats on the left brain mentality, all logic, and that's who's cast aside or goes to hell or doesn't move up or ascend or become enlightened. However you want to look at this, it doesn't matter what religion's dogma you follow. It just more so represents an ideology of moving up, staying stagnant, or moving down. It's vibration, it's frequency, it's light. It gets lighter, and the vibrations are more close together the higher you move up, and that's just how things work. So when you think about that, and it says the Most High will part the goats to the left, and then the sheep will be on his right, and the right brain, that's the creative feminine, and you just put all this stuff together. It's not insult to be told you're a sheep. You want to be a sheep. It's a goat you don't want to be. And I feel like that's why it was so easy to undermine the truthing community by calling them sheep or sheeple if they don't continually have the top of the news feed stance on topic. Like, it bothers me that when you investigate truthing community issues like flat earth, like conspiracies, that have happened since the dawn of man. When you look into these things, it's nice it's not nice. It's nice means ignorant and stupid. Don't use that word anymore. Look into it. But it's really refreshing to come across communities of truthers who are open to all ideas and allowing consciousness to flow, because most of the time you run into truthing communities where they have this, idea that they want to stamp into your brain, and if you don't align with it or their idea on it, we become the generation who blocks and deletes. So we just align ourselves with people who agree, and we delete everybody else, and that's not how the world works. That's not how we become united. And I'm not even saying that, like, there's that whole, everything's Luciferian. There's evil in everything. So when you think about calling something united, it triggers people to automatically think one world government. That's bad. But you have to understand, we have to unite, but we don't have to unite under government. Like, we're not being creative enough, we're not being right-brained enough to think of ideas that could lead us to a healthier, more liberated future. We're stuck in the left brain. We're being told what to do. It's very militant, it's very structured. Our education system keeps it that way. That's just indoctrinating you into a life of slavery. I mean, honestly, if I ever had a child, if I have a child you don't know about, I will not be putting him or her into the public school system, the government-owned school system. I will not do it. It's an indoctrination process. I see how bastardized and retarded I was made through the schooling system funded by the government. I see what they did to me now. And the forced immunization, when I was in 6th grade, we had to receive hepatitis C shots. Why the fuck do I need a hepatitis C shot? Okay? Stuff like that bothers me, like they corral us into this, oh, you need to do it for public safety, public health, be a society, but we're not being a community of people who watch over each other. We're being run by a network of groups and conglomerates that are treated better than human beings because they're considered human beings of their own, and they're worth a lot of money. And money is what's making this world spin, even though all of that is lies. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, spinning, the world doesn't spin. It's I'm going to say flat for this analogy. We can call it concave. You can go with whatever you want. It's just not a globe that spins through outer space. That's not real. All of that is scientism. It's a magic act. You have to understand that science is just a new religion. Politics is a newer one. So let's keep each other in check and not be able to cite Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is an actor, as a credible source of information. Same with Bill Nye, the fucking science guy. These are actors, people. Look them up on IMDb. It says actor by their name. Stuff like this is really important, and the truthing community does not allow you to talk about it because it's full of shills and people whose sole objective it is while they're here is to mask the truth, and that's for real. You have to use discernment in every situation of life. I don't even care how minuscule it seems, because there is always truth and lies. There's going to be partial truth and partial lies in everything you come into contact with. I'm talking everything, because everything's related. It is all synchronicity. This whole whatever we're in, this game, this module, this, simulation, whatever you want to think reality is, whatever you want to think life is, you don't have to believe in religion. You don't have to believe in a martyr who's been put on pedestals by human beings of the past, or that we learned in history class, right? You don't have to buy into that. I'm not asking you to do that, but you have to understand that even atheists and agnostics, deep down, the epitome, the idea of where those started, are based out of the idea all of this that exists, all that ever was and will be, needed to be created. And even if you want to buy into scientism's Big Bang Theory, which makes absolutely no sense because an explosion deletes everything, an implosion would create, and I feel like we're thinking about things completely inverted. I don't believe we have it correct, and I think that human beings in the future are going to look back at us and think we're really dumb because we had access to the internet and all this technology, but we didn't know how to use it, and it was using us, and we were being told what to do, how to do it, all of it. And that's the part that if we don't wake up, talk about as a community, that's where we're really going to hell. Like, we're screwed. So, speaking of hell, I want to talk to you about what's been going on this past week, mainly yesterday. I had just this day, man. It's family drama that's coming out of lies. All it is lies. I have come to a place, obviously, with waking up that I can't handle people lying to me, and that literally includes everybody, like myself included. I cannot stand hearing them anymore. Like, they're making me ill. I have to speak on them. So I'm not able to maintain relationships and have phone conversations, and I can't even be on social media anymore. My goodness. Because I'm not allowed to be honest. You're censored everywhere. I'm realizing what censorship truly means, and how if you haven't meditated on that idea, you truly don't know, because it's synonymous with slavery. We're slaves in every aspect of the word. Like, it goes so much deeper than your thoughts of what you learned in 6th grade about, black people coming over from Africa being slaves. Like, no, we're all slaves. Okay? We all are in this mess together. And I can't even, with what I'm supposed to buy as real and have to discern, is a lie. Like, it's so hard. It's so complex. Anyway, I'm losing track. I want to tell you, I'm dealing with basically, my mom is a retiree, okay? And, she grew up in a baby boomer era. She was poor. She grew up poor, and she never reached that status of, being wealthy. And I personally admire this quality because I have learned more from her being a hard-working, dedicated human being, somebody who is willing to bend over backwards and do whatever they need to do to make sure their children were fed and educated as best they could be. But she really protected us and took care of us, and she is a strong-willed woman. She is the best woman who exists on this plane, in my mind. Like, honestly, I've learned Mother Nature and our Father in heaven are our true mother and father. So no matter your situation and how you grew up and how you came into this realm, you have a mother and father. We all do, and we all share them. We are all of one species, one race, however you want to classify us, because there's even fights about that. But honestly, we are all one. We really truly are, because we're of the same Mother Earth and Father in heaven, and that's truly real. So our representations of the material mom and dad here on the planes here are just, a manifestation of what our spiritual realm used as a teaching tool, in my mind. This is all my perspective. You can disagree, that's cool. But this is where I'm coming to find solace and peace, just understanding that I don't have control. It was never given to me. I never had choice. Choice isn't real. Cause and effect is real. You run into situations, and what you do in those situations creates. You know what I mean? Like, it's deep. It's super deep. But basically, people are misusing and abusing and taking advantage of my mom, and she's the only person on this plane I care about right now. Like, in the most selfish of ways and in the most humble and empathetic of ways, I truly mean this. She's the only other human I care about. Her pain is my pain, and I cannot see my mom in pain. It hurts me. And as much as her mistakes make me angry sometimes, I realize all of us are in this bigger game where things are being thrown at us left and right, and things get out of control, and our ego does get in the driver's seat, and we say things and we do things, and our actions create problems and ripples, and it's hard to deal with. But she's the one human I'm leaving this piece of my heart open for, because you can't turn your back on your parents. I would feel the same with my dad too. I've just never met him, so I can't have a relationship with somebody I've never met. I do believe your parents, your mom and dad, deserve your utmost respect, but also in the Bible it says there may come a time in your life where you have to walk away from people you love, and this could include a spouse, this could include children, or your parents, because if they hold you back with their sinful ways and are refusing to hear your knowledge, your wisdom, and act on that to understand truth, then they're going to keep you in this state, keep your mind in this state where you are perpetuating sin, in a sense, by not calling it out and telling the sin it needs to leave the sinner alone. Like, this weird, still working on that one. Okay, we'll talk about it together in future videos. But basically, I'm having a really hard time dealing with lies, which I'm getting from all of my extended family, which I'm getting from a sibling, and I can't deal with this anymore. I can't deal with your issues, and I can't deal with your pride, which I don't understand why parents keep saying they have pride in their children. I'm proud of my child. Don't carry a sin around with you for your child. Don't have pride in your child. Be humbled by your child. Learn from your child. Understand the truth in your child. Your child is a creation of you. It's beautiful, but like, to say that you're proud of it, it's just this really narcissistic view of like, I'm proud of what I created and I put out there. It's so selfish and gross, and I feel like it's the opposite of the Most High. So when my sister and my cousin talk about they're proud of their kids, and we're talking about how their kids are upsetting the rest of the family and using and abusing members of the family, and how they're being really selfish and acting inappropriate, and they're old enough to understand to respect people, especially when they're handing things to you left and right. I mean, my mom has been a warrior and a champion for really being selfless, really dedicating yourself to others. She truly, truly has, whether it was in times of being nescient to truth, or just being so humble to offer her assistance in any way. I mean, she has her flaws, and no one's perfect, and she has a temper, and that's where I get mine, and that's a beautiful thing as well. And I'm exploring the things I've created just from my anger, and the motivation I've caused in this world just from anger, and how it is a tool. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to have control over it. So basically, what I made this video to do was make a timestamp about how I'm just disappointed in members of my family, and the only one who's truly going to be there for me is myself. I've learned this. I've learned that I will be the only person there for me through thick and thin, through all the good, all the bad, and all the in-between. And the only other thing that's keeping me going, because I am too weak, I alone am too weak to handle this, is the Most High. His presence in my life is seriously making everything better. It's making everything okay, because I can't deal with the lunacy y'all are throwing at me. You know what I mean? My goodness. I really, I don't understand the unconscious lies we're comfortable living in. I don't understand why we're treating people like lesser than us when it's just over skin color or genitalia or age or borders that are fake and made up by man, and laws that are fake and made up by man. And the statistics of hearing minorities put in prison for selling, distributing and smoking a plant, marijuana, a medicinal herb that is healing us. And I've learned that THC actually exists in your DNA. Cannabinoids are in your DNA, and the fact that when you smoke cannabis, or when you ingest cannabis or cannabis oil, it's known to literally find the thing in your body that's ailing you and fix it. And now that makes more sense, to know that it's actually just repairing your DNA. Y'all, this is real. So them vilifying a plant, same with hemp. Hemp should have never been vilified. You don't even get high from it. So the fact that they're vilifying these things that could really revolutionize humanity and change us to be more environmentally friendly, work with the earth rather than against it, rather than pillaging it, because that's the true abuse we're doing to the sacred feminine. All of these feminists that want to scream, men are bad and we need to promote women. No, you need to understand that we need to raise the sacred masculine as well. Both of our sacred sexes are stomped on right now. If you look at how we're treating men in the media, in everyday life, it isn't good. And the same with women. We need to build both and each other up. And we have to understand that the feminine and the masculine exists within each of us the same, at the root, at the very creation of what they are. The polarity of having that creation with logic, it's a beautiful thing, but if you don't know how to harness it, it's scary, and one can get out of control and abuse the other. And we have to understand that what a lot of people believe, what you are here in this physical manifestation, is the opposite of what you are in the spiritual realm. So i.e., that would mean my spiritual realm would be a feminine spirit. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not mad at that idea. I think that's kind of neat, because I do feel like we have that in us, and we suppress it through society telling us to, in all sorts of ways. It's not all sexual. We've sexualized it. We've sexualized gender. That's what the trans movement is doing. Hear me when I say support and sympathize and empathize for understanding what trans people are going through, but understand this movement is out of control and scary, and we need to talk about what is happening and why we're conditioning society to be complicit with rules that are governing a select group of people, and why the whole world is conforming. And if you question it, you're vilified. And there's some scary things going on. Same with the LGBT community. It's a violent community at times, and we need to talk about that, and it's weird that we can't. So I just wanted to make this video and talk about how all of this stuff that I'm realizing and learning is relating to me on an individual level, and how it's really affecting my family, and how this week especially has been a trying period, getting in arguments with my cousin on the phone, not speaking with my sister for almost 4 years. We had a brief period of repatching to come together and take care of our mom and make decisions with her and move forward as a family, but it's falling apart again. And I cannot stand how selfish she is being and not recognizing it, and her side of the family with, because she has her immediate family now, and it's just confusing to me. And one of my friends talked to me a couple weeks ago and was like, you don't come off angry to me, you come off confused. And I think that's the most beautiful thing I've heard about me, like analyzing me, in a long time, because let me tell you, being told you're an angry person when you're not is so confusing. I am allowed and I confront things, and I am okay with knowing truth and knowing it's going to hurt me and it's going to check me and it's like a gut punch. But if you get through it, if you just keep breathing, you're going to make it, and you're going to find a beautiful place on the other side of that. And it's so harmonious with your body, with your soul, with your spirit. You resonate in it, and it's a beautiful thing. So I'm cherishing that, and I understand that, you know, some pain helps you endure, and it's you know, cause and effect. Who earned that pain? You know, what did I do in my past? What have I done? You know, how many cheeks have I turned to the homeless on the streets and not protected and taken care of my brother and my sister on the street? You know what I mean? Like, everybody deserves the same respect and the same love and the same gratitude and the same empathy, and we don't give it. And then we wonder why disease is rampant. We wonder why cancer is taking over the planet. You know, think about it. Think of your choices. Think of what you eat, what you ingest. You are what you eat. If you're eating all these chemicals, all these GMOs, all this fake meat, what the hell is fake meat? That's so disgusting, you guys. Stop it. Like, it's really bad, and we're in fights over the wrong things. And I am with my family too. So please, internet, be as kind and gentle as you may. I prefer a reach around and lube. Let's say that. But anyway, take care of yourselves, really, spiritually, mentally. Meditate more. Speak to the Most High. Talk to Him. Get a relationship going. It's super, super important. We need to start taking care of each other as a world. But anyway, this video was really just to document as a timestamp, a mark in time. So continue to comment below. Keep the discussion going. Add your thoughts, your opinions. If you have anything else you want to discuss that was in this video, let me know. Keep it going below. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, peace out.